What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Starbuck, Minnesota. This is our hard economy playthrough where we started $3.5 million in debt, and we're trying to slowly make our way out of debt. And that's the entire premise of this playthrough. Trying to be realistic-ish, to take a notch out of Clutch's playbook from years ago, and enjoy the game. And so between this video and the last one, we did harvest the wheat. We got about $60,000 worth. After we turn up here, I'll go ahead and take a look and time-saving stock check for you. We do have some field prep going on behind us. We got one of our John Deere tractors spreading some lime in a field that's going to be soybeans next year. We are going to be planting all spring crops in year 4. So we'll be finishing up these harvests, and we got 2 fields to go in year 3, and we can luckily, now that we don't have cattle, not a lot to take care of other than making sure the sawmill's fed. We're gonna be able to get to winter pretty quickly here and find out how much money we made in year 3, and that is the goal today. We're gonna do this sorghum harvest, do some field prep since we're not planting anything in the fall. All of our fields, the 4 fields that we manage right now, they're all going to be planted in the spring. We're going to do 3 of them with soybeans, and 1 of them is going to get oats because the crop rotation bonus would be terrible if we did soybeans on all 4. And oats is actually one of the best yield bonuses we'll get on that, and that's the field directly connected to the farm over there in the distance that you can see. It is sorghum as well, and we need to harvest that today. We have about 40 acres to finish harvesting. I believe this one's about 10. Let's hop out and just take a peek at that real quick. Yeah, we got 10 acres here. And then this is our second largest field here, where we do have 28.5 acres to harvest. So just under 40 acres is what we'll be finishing today. And first time doing sorghum on this playthrough, first time doing it on hard economy, so we'll see how beneficial it was. I do believe, even though there's a lot of time between me making that decision planting and us finally getting to this harvest, I believe it was a crop rotation decision made. And we're trying to maximize our yield bonuses as much as possible on this playthrough. But let's take a look at that time-saving stock check like I mentioned. Let's sort it by max value. You can see we have $142,000 worth of oats and $67,000 worth of wheat. That was 165,000 liters that we harvested. And while we're yapping here, I meant to get this going as well. We are going to get a worker working on our straw for us. So we'll get them out there, and we got a lot more straw from the wheat field. So that'll be, extra money. I think you probably saw in the time-saving stock check the amount of money we already have of straw sitting ready to be sold, just waiting for the price to be right. We are definitely using default game fluctuating prices in this playthrough, kind of make it a little bit more difficult for us. But yeah, hard economy. I was, thinking while I was having dinner today, what I would do different if I do another hard economy playthrough. I think I would do a start from scratch and try to make $1 million instead of starting in debt with the equipment like we did. Because boy, making money is hard enough. Making money and paying off debt, that's even harder. So it is what it is, and that's why we did this playthrough originally. I really wanted to see how hard is hard economy, and that's what we've learned here. So let's clear this course. We should be able to go in here. I did save a course on field 7 that I should be able to load in here for this operator to do the baling. Let them go on their way. Make sure they do get started. Looking good, looking good. And then we can hop back into the harvester and continue on our way here. And, only 49% full right now. So we're going to be close to getting both. I did set up 2 headlands on here, which is probably overkill on this little field, but we did do 2 headlands. We'll get the grain cart operator over here momentarily to unload us. But 15. You know, we do see a fluctuation up there. This is a good part of the field. We're getting up to 15.7 tons per hectare. 112% on just precision farming score there. So this is a green part of the field. We can see it did change. It was yellow back there. It is green here. So pretty good soil type right here for us, but the entire field wasn't. But this is a leased field, and the field that we did the wheat harvest in is also a leased field. So we may not, depending on how we feel when we do sell all the sorghum and see how we did for the entire year, decide if this is the right amount of fields for us. If we need more, it would be really nice to be able to afford a second harvester. I don't think that's in the cards, but we might be to the point where we can afford to lease one next harvest season, and we will do that if we decide to expand. Lots of decisions to be made, but ultimately trying to get out of that debt. 3.5 million to start with, and looking at the loan system mod, we're at 2.4 now. Sorry, it was 3 million to start with, not 3.5. 3 million to start with. We've paid off $500,000 in, this is our third year. This is our third August, so this is our second complete year of running this farm ourselves. But we did get a little bit more on the headland there, so we got close to full. So it might make sense to go get that grain cart operator now, but I think I will get it completely full before we do that. All right, getting this unloaded here. First load coming in. I think I am, for once, going to do this entire harvest myself until there's other things to do. I mean, we could move some bales over here and make sure they're able to finish their job. Typically, it's the ups and downs that, you know, they get in the way, but we can just pay attention to when objects need to be moved. And like that one, yeah, that's going to line up in a rough spot. So they'll move that one with some equipment, but yeah, I think I am going to just do this whole entire harvest myself. Tempted to do it in cab, but away we go. We're full. Could put them on follow me. Could give that a shot, but I think we will just cruise along and do this harvest. Figuring out how to use GPS's or Coursplay's GPS to do the ups and downs when I have it set to lands is going to be interesting here. I haven't done that before. So I will be, you know, coming in here, turning the eyeballs on to make sure we're going to the right place. But good stuff, yeah. So we're going to see today. We're going to see how much of this debt we can pay off. You know, some upgrades would be nice to be able to get work done a little bit quicker. It's always a priority of mine. You know, it's a decent sized farm, so it would be nice to be able to get more fields and get them done quicker, but we will see. Kind of get reacquainted here. We already got a blocked object. Looks like they worked their way through it. All right, I'm going to get a little bit focused on this harvest here. We're going to get her done. All right, this is where it gets a little tricky here. And the eye keeps disappearing, but we're going to follow this line. And I think it's showing us that land there that we want to go to. But since we're right here, let's go ahead and unload. And then we'll back up to it. And I think we can get 3 carts or 3 combines full, even though that wasn't a full one. But we'll want to go up this one, and then we're going to loop on the outsides. Just the way I like to harvest, especially with Courseplay when we're doing auto drive and everything. And I'll kind of explain it with you and hang out with you guys while I do this, just to kind of, those of you that don't know. And if we come in here, go to field settings, it's in settings center, field center, lands. Select how the center of the field should be driven, up, down, spiral, lands, or racetrack. Those are the options. We typically go with lands on this playthrough. So what we'll do, we'll come here, close the pipe. Let's get this to where we can actually move the camera again. Not quite aligned there, but we'll go ahead and lock in now. And so we're going to do this and open up the field. And then the pass to our left, we're going to turn around and do that next. So this will be pass 1. To the left will be pass 2. To the right will be pass 3. And then we're going to go all the way out 2 passes to the left and then 2 passes to the right. I hope that makes sense, but I'll keep showing you. All right, so now that this pass is done, we're then going to turn around and head back up the field on this side. And the beauty of this is the next 4 passes, the auger will always be exposed to the side of the field or an area in the field that's already been harvested. So that's why we do it this way. Now, that first one, you'd have to have the grain cart go behind you, but we're 28% full. So now the odds are that most likely every single pass we do until we start another section of another land section, we're going to have the auger out when we need to unload. And so when you're using auto drive and course play together, that gives you a better chance to have the combine constantly running while it's even unloading, instead of having the problem, if you're familiar with it, where they have to drive over and cut into the pass to the right to clear way for the grain cart to come. You kind of avoid that with this setup, which is why I think it's pretty brilliant. Got a great comment years ago at this point telling me about that when I was complaining about some auto drive issues I was having, and it changed my world when it came to how we're doing these harvests. So a little sad on the amount of sorghum we're getting, but it is what it is. A hard economy makes it to where we're paying, don't lift like that. We're, paying attention a lot more to what we're actually getting yield wise here. And it makes me kind of sad, if I'm being completely honest. It is a smaller field. We do have the huge 28 acres still to figure out if that's going to make us happy. And I don't even remember the prices of sorghum. I mean, that could be one of those things where we go, oh, it's saving. It's going to take a little bit. When we hop in here and take a look at prices and just look at sorghum real quick, in hard economy, talking $539 per 1,000 liters of sorghum. Hard is an understatement. All right, so now we did that pass. We're going to go even farther out in the field here and hook up to this pass here, where it takes a little bit longer to get to the passes. But when you're talking about being able to never stop and always have the auger exposed to the part of the field that's already been cut, it definitely saves time. All right, I think we did a good demo of that. I am going to spend some time doing the rest of this harvest myself and just keep you guys updated. Alrighty, we're coming in here to finish off this harvest, and we're looking roughly 50,000 liters, maybe 46,000. We'll take a look when we drop it off, but not a ridiculous number here. Not the best, but it was our smallest field, only a 10-acre field here. Just trying to figure out, like, with crop rotation and everything, man, what do you do? It's like, almost seems like the missing part for us is really the productions. And now that we have the sawmill, we are moving a lot better financially, but it was like, does a flour mill make sense? The amount of oats and wheat that we have right now, instead of selling them, we just don't have enough money for that. I could have bought that last episode, but didn't check if anyone was coming. But we got a little aggressive with paying off the debt, which felt good. Just kind of wonder, I imagine in hard economy it takes a lot longer to make your money back after buying a production, though. So that's kind of where my hesitation has been on even investing in one. The sawmill, I think we did the math and we knew it would take a little bit of time, but only a couple months really for that thing to pay for itself. Maybe it was a year. It might have been a full year before the sawmill paid for itself, but it also put us in a situation where we're bringing in enough money every month because of the sawmill just to pay our debt. All right, that's getting tipped. Once that's in there, we'll hover over here, see our total. 53,000 liters of sorghum. And looking at time-saving stock check, $27,000, guys. $27,000 in sorghum. One field to go. So we did just over 10 acres. And we have just under 30 acres here. Yeah, you could do some quick math if you're good at math. $27,000 worth of sorghum times 3. So this field should bring in about $83,000 plus the 27. We're looking at $110,000 in sorghum. But we are getting 16 tons per hectare, so a little bit better yield in some of the areas. So maybe we'll get a little bit more. 110,000 liters of sorghum, you know, that's only going to bring in, well, that is the money, $110,000 worth of sorghum. It's going to be a lot of sorghum. It's going to be like 150,000 liters plus from this field, but financially only going to be bringing in about $80,000. An $80,000 field in real life, you know, when you look at it that way, that seems amazing to me. It seems amazing to me. It's just the debt really is the big thing. And ice cream man, you know, long term, if this was real life and we're making, you know, if we're looking at our time saving stock check right now, we're, you know, our inventory is showing close to $500,000 already before doing our last harvest. And we know we're going to make, you know, seeing the sawmill over there, we're going to make a decent amount of money off the sawmill still. And we really have plenty of trees before we even have to worry about planting more. Kind of, oh, this is the area that doesn't harvest well. Thought we fixed that. But yeah, lost my train of thought. Completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, get $500,000 right now from just our crops, not including what's coming from the sawmill. It's a successful farm. It's just when, you know, the plan is to get out of debt. The reality is we're in a good spot. We were in a good spot, and if this was real life, we'd have no complaints. We'd be talking about probably investing more and not really getting out of debt faster. Like, you know, slow down getting out of debt. Let's increase our revenue a little bit more. But it looks like we are getting a little bit less yield than we got last year, and I kind of makes me think, no, we're at perfect pH, perfect nitrogen. Just those yield numbers just don't look as good as they could. Which is unfortunate, but kind of is what it is. We are about 100% full here, which is pretty nice. You know, it's always my way of checking is how far we get around the headland before we need to unload, and that was... couldn't decide which way I wanted to go to get there. I think this way will be quicker. This is a big field. This is going to take a while to harvest, and once we unload here, I probably will hand off, and we're going to go see what's going on with the straw, probably start moving those bales out of the way off camera, potentially start getting some tillage going. We do need to get some lime going on another field. But all in all, you know, the reality is this has been a pretty successful playthrough, and I just didn't want it to take 10 years to get through, like the reality is. And when I kind of chill and relax and just say, you know, if we're in it for the long haul and we think about the way it's progressing, if this was real life, we would be thrilled. We'd be thrilled with this farm right now. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, it's September. We're going to get things started off in September by selling all the goods from last night. It's going to bring our balance up to $147,000. So we're going good with this harvest. And last segment, I kind of mentioned an estimate that I thought we're going to make off of it financially. And we Must be getting a lot better yield bonus on this field than I was anticipating, because it's looking great. When we get over to the silo, I'll give you a little sneak peek of it there. We've got tillage going in the big field. We've got a lot of fog. And we got lime spread on the 3 fields that we have harvested so far. The only field that has not had lime taken care of is the field we're harvesting now. So looking good to get a little jump start to our prep for spring when it comes to flipping these fields. And this can, oh, yep, could stay right there for now. Let's go take a look at the silo, and then I'll show you what we have remaining to harvest. We have 225,000 liters of sorghum. And getting this finished here in September, you can see what's left. A good amount of it is harvested, but gotta be honest with you, I'm in between recording sessions, but I know it's a whole lot more sorghum. We were thinking that we're barely gonna make over $100,000 in sorghum, and it's our number 2 right now. It's at 118,000 with everything there left. So a couple of the big passes left to do. We're looking pretty solid. Let's take a look at tillage over here. See, this is as far as they've gotten so far. Not terrible. They got all that over there to do, so we'll let them do this in the background. This will probably be the only one we get done before the end of the year. But a little bit of a harvest to go. They're going to finish right here, start doing some lands again. And I think there's probably 2 more cycles of that to do. And I wanted to check on the chicken feed. So let's head on over there. They are low maintenance, but every once in a while we do need to feed them. As we take a look here, yeah, 1,800. We could top them off, and we can do that right now with this grain cart. So we'll grab some wheat out of the silo and drop it off over there. But other than that, just kind of trying to finish this harvest and then get to the point where we can sell all of our goods and see how low we've gotten this debt this year. So that'll be plenty. And I think we might be able to pull this off without having to move those bales, but we might need to. All right, so I'm coming inside right now in real life from using my box blade for the first time in real life. I got so much learning to do, guys. Like, so much. Everything looks so easy when you watch a video, when you watch someone else do it. It took me like 20 minutes just to get the 3-point connection all done. And so much of an increased respect for everything about this game. There we go. Didn't have the right tipping selected, that's why that wasn't showing up. But yeah, so like fun stuff in real life going on. Not sure if we'll do any videos. We might do some shorts on it just to show you guys what's happening. But man, somewhat embarrassed of how terrible I am so far. A big learning curve. Huge learning curve. But it's going to be fun. All right, let's get this done. And then we're going to do a little, like, probably quick montage of selling things. But I will have to do a lot of stuff in the background to get us to that point. Nothing really to show that I plan on doing in September, October, November. Besides just cutting down some trees and making sure the sawmill's fed and then selling some goods every month. So I will join you momentarily. And we're going to put a little bow on the month of September. We do have 277,702 liters of sorghum now. It is our #1 crop by $3,000. Looks like at max value we'll make $145,000 from sorghum, $142,000 from oats, but we also have the $95,000 that we're going to make from straw, which is a combination from the wheat and the oat harvest. $64,000 from the wheat. Time saving stock check is showing us at $500,000 right now. There'll be more to make, and I am going to slowly get us to where we can sell the goods. Well, I am kind of keeping an eye on the used market to see if anything good pops up, and right now we're going to do the October selling events. And we probably are going to buy a grain trailer for the semi again, even though we sold the one recently, just so that we can sell things a little bit easier. We have a little bit of cash to play with, and I think that would be a wise investment. After loans and everything coming out in October and the money we've made here, we're up to $159,000. Haven't sold any of the grain yet. We're going to get to that. See when the prices peak. We will, possibly be getting all the way to January in today's episode. Got to keep an eye on the straw prices. Got to keep an eye on all of it, but I will see you in November. And then it was November. Here we go. Yeah, making about $9,000 a month after paying the loan, which is awesome. We're doing nothing. We're chopping down a couple trees every once in a while and really doing nothing and making $9,000. So big payday coming maybe in December. We're gonna have to see when these prices peak. See you in a little bit. Well, we're heading in to make some money. After we sell these, we're gonna come back and get all the alfalfa and the wheat the hay that we have left. We're gonna sell that. Sorghum's super close. Wheat is super close to being at a peak price. So we're gonna lease a grain trailer. We're not gonna buy one. We don't need to buy one. We're gonna lease one. We're only gonna use it 1 month a year. Maybe 2. I don't think it's worth buying. But this selling event's gonna get us up to 176. And then we're gonna be all the way up to 188. And then we're up to 198 with more bales being sold. And we're starting to sell the straw. So this will be the first one I'm going to show, and then we're going to jump all the way to the final. It's going to be like 20 trips here. So we're up to 209. See you in a second. And the last bit of straw getting sold. We're going to be up to $311,000. It's time to probably get some diesel for this. Lease that trailer and just be patient for the grain prices to be good as well. See how high we can get this dollar amount today. Costs a little over $5,000 to get this thing leased. I think it'll be real nice to do less trips, but wheat is ready to be sold, so we'll go ahead and start filling that up here. All right, this should be fun selling this much at one go here. $20,000 in each hopper, which is going to be just about $9,000. Oh boy. And after the first group is sold, we are up to $341,000. We're going to hold on to just a little bit extra, about $6,000 to hold on to for the chickens. Hopefully that's enough. I almost forgot. And we didn't plant a crop to feed them next year. We might be evaluating that. And after selling all the wheat, we're at $374,615. I think sorghum's going to be next. We're going to get lucky with the sorghum. It's going to be a close selling location, but we're going to have lots of trips here. It's getting dark. Oats aren't quite there yet. Boy, turning around's a little bit of a nightmare with this thing, but you can see where we're going, where it's tagged. So, somewhat quick trips. And selling sorghum for the first time. A little bit better numbers. Each hopper's going to bring in $11,000 this time. And after the first group of sorghum is sold, we are up to 422. It's looking good, guys. I'm going to join you when we're selling the last bit because I think we're going to have 4 trips of this. And we are going to save about 15,000 or maybe 17,000 sorghum for the chickens. I wanted to save more of... Oh, I think I had a little bit more to sell there, didn't I? I can't see. Yeah, come on, game. I don't like this selling location. There we go. But we're gonna be pushing it. We'll be getting a little bit over that $500,000 mark, the 500,000 after getting this sold. And there it is, 505. Now it's time just to wait for oat prices to be good. And I have a feeling we're gonna have to pay another lease fee for this, but that's just the way it works. There's more sorghum than I thought. We're going to sell a little bit more of it. But you can see here, oats still not there. So I think it is going to actually be January when that is ready. And I changed my mind about selling the oats and the rest of this sorghum. We're going to do something else. We're going to hop in here and we're going to buy the grain mill for $288,000. It's going to change how much debt we're out of after today's episode. but I think it was the right call. And we probably should have done that before selling the sorghum, but I needed enough cash to make sure we could get by. And I wanted to pay off some debt. So, you know, not gonna lie, I made the decision too late. Mistakes were made, but I think this is good long term, and that means we probably are gonna do a little bit more oats. We're gonna see if we have enough to get through a whole year of production. We'll have to learn that a little bit, and we'll see how good this sawmill, or not sawmill, this grain mill is for us. But yeah, all that wheat we sold, you know, we could have just put it in here. I made the decision too late. But we can drop the sorghum. Try to find the trigger here. Let's go ahead and hop in here. We're going to activate sorghum flour. So I'll do a little quick math here. If we do 15 each cycle and 1,200 cycles times 12, that's 216,000 liters of sorghum. We would have had enough. Oats is going to be the same thing. So we'll put in 216,000 of oats, but we don't have to do it today. We can slowly bring it over here. And that means we're going to make a little less money today, like I just said, but it's for the greater good. So we'll have enough oats to get us through an entire year. Would be nice to have multiple crops, and we might be mixing up adjusting our plan. It's a little late this year, a little late to switch up to wheat and barley as well to get over here. But you know, there's some things we could figure out for that. Let's make sure we get oat flour getting going as well. And you know, we're not gonna be able to hold all the oats, so we'll make sure we keep filling it up. And let's, you know, right now we should learn a little bit about this. Flour, we already have 1,000. It's going to be peak price right now as well. So it's going to be about a year until we can sell those. I mean, we could get a decent amount going overnight, and I kind of want to do that. We're going to go ahead and return this lease. Oh, it's a double. It's a double. We'll return one and return the other. And well, you know, flour, yeah, I guess we probably should be selling it every month. All right, we made a mistake. It might not be as profitable, but yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be just fine. We're gonna make it morning. We're gonna sell just the flour, see where that gets our money, and then that'll be it for today's episode. And by golly, that produced a lot overnight. As it's starting to snow here in January of what's technically year 4, we're heading to the farmer's market. Our first semi-day of flour production is going to bring in about $14,000. Not great. So over time, we will make money off of that. It'll definitely, well, it's going to take a little bit to pay for itself. Yeah, let me know. Was that a mistake? Should we have just kept making money off the grain? We're not going to pay off any debt today. I thought we were going to get ourselves down to $2 million debt, and then I made that decision. Let me know. Was that a mistake? Would you have done it? We got a lot more selling to do at the beginning of next episode. We'll finish the month of January, get into spring planting. We got some, really, will be some flour and wood chips to sell. You know, and all the goods we produce every month. Thanks for hanging out on What Kurt's Place. I'll catch you on the next one.